Hi, I'm Michael Wan. Thanks for watching us today. We need the wall. That is the subject of today's op-ed live. Trump, and you should also know that Trump support remains unchanged. That is also the topic of today's op-ed. So close to 90% of American voters say they oppose plans to grant amnesty to illegal aliens in exchange for securing a fifth of border wall funds. Despite being touted as a bipartisan effort, American voters by an overwhelming majority are revolting against plans to give amnesty to illegal aliens enrolled and eligible for Barack Obama's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program in exchange for about $5.7 billion in funds to construct a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. One plan, which White House advisor Jared Kushner and other Senate Republicans devised, would have given about 700,000 DACA-enrolled illegal aliens 3-year work permits to stay in the country in exchange for border wall funds. The plan has already failed to pass out in Congress. The second plan, floated by Kushner and Senate Republicans, is an effort to give more than 1 million DACA-enrolled and DACA-eligible illegal aliens green cards to permanently stay in the country. This would allow the illegal aliens to bring an unlimited number of foreign relatives to the United States after obtaining citizenship. In exchange, the president would receive a fifth of border wall funds. The latest Monmouth University poll reveals that about 88% of voters said they oppose efforts to tie amnesty for illegal aliens to border wall fundings. Instead, voters said the issues should be dealt with separately. More than 80% of Republicans, 90% of swing voters, and even 95% of Democrats said they oppose an amnesty for border wall deal. Trump reopened the federal government by signing a funding bill that continues government spending at current levels. This funding measure did not include any border wall funds. A Senate conference committee has been created to attempt to strike a deal on border wall funds with a deadline of February 15th. But I don't think any deal is going to happen anytime soon. And get this, while the senators and the White House negotiate a plan, at least 30,000 illegal border crossings are happening, which is a travesty. We shouldn't let any of these people come in, right? You don't want people, you don't want unqualified people coming over here. Nobody wants that. They might cause so much damage, so much violence to this country. And I believe some are okay, but we don't know. We don't know who they are. We don't know whether they have criminal records, rape records. We don't know anything. So why? How come? Why are the mainstream media and the Democrats rooting for this? It seems like they want the fabric of America to be damaged. That's what I think is going on. I think they want America to be damaged. And probably they want those illegals to come over here and become citizens one day and probably vote for them. Probably that's the only reason why they want them to come in. It's just common sense. Nobody wants illegal immigrants coming over here. If you're a common sense citizen, that just goes without saying. So this is what all of you need to pay attention, especially you guys, Democrats. Since 2006, more than 250,000 people, now that's 250,000, have been murdered in Mexico, including hundreds of politicians and judges. This is almost like a war zone, and it's spurred by drug cartels that reach into the highest levels of Mexican government. The Attorney General of a Mexican state recently pleaded guilty to drug trafficking charges. A governor of a state on the United States border took bribes to let cartels operate freely. And the country's previous president was accused by a witness at trial of taking a $100 million bribe from El Chapo Guzman. And it's not just Mexico. Nicaragua is in turmoil, and El Salvador is largely controlled by gangs. Venezuela, as you may already know, is in complete chaos. A recent Brookings Institution report predicted that a total collapse in Venezuela, which could happen any day, might create 8 million refugees. So you can obviously see that we need to do something with the southern wall. And that something, I think, the only answer is the wall. And I hope that Democrats can realize the need to improve our border security with the wall. It works in Israel. I think it's going to perfectly work fine here in the United States. Please, mainstream media, Democrats, wake up. We need the wall. rather than just saying the same old stuff over and over again. What does the Democrats say? Nancy, Chuck, they say, oh, we need border security. We need stronger border. Really? Then what is the answer? They say probably we might put more border patrols. I don't think so. I think what they want is they want open border and they want these illegals to pour in. They are pro-illegal aliens over American citizens or legal residents. Please do not lump the legal immigrants to illegals. Please do not do that. And I see so many papers out there who keep on doing that, you know, the mainstream media. Please don't. There are so many legal residents here who does not want to be included in that corrupt sum. You know, illegal immigrants. You know, we can't say that they're illegal. I mean, it's a good thing, right? Okay, we move on to our next topic. It seems that the Mueller probe is getting close to the end. So it seems that the Mueller probe, yeah, it might be ending pretty soon. Attorney General, the acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker said it is close to being completed, which is a positive thing. This ridiculous and crazy probe has been continuing too long, and I blame this whole thing on Jeff Sessions and especially James Comey and Rod Rosenstein. James Comey, the former FBI director, and Rod Rosenstein, the deputy attorney general. These people are some corrupt human beings here. Jeff Sessions' fault was that he was not ready for prime time, like what Chris Christie said. He freaked out when the media was all over him. They said, oh, he's involved with the Trump campaign. He wasn't really deeply involved with the Trump campaign. And even though if he was involved, he didn't have to recuse it. He didn't have to recuse himself. He met with those Russian diplomats with other senators too, right? The deputies were there. It was wide open. It was not a secret meeting at all. So the Democrats heinously tried to trap. They trapped him. They trapped him. They said, oh, you said that you didn't meet a Russian, but you did. It wasn't a big deal. It was an open meeting. It was not a closed meeting or a secret meeting, okay? So the mainstream media, they're completely nuts. They're missing the entire point with this Russia probe. Trump did not collude with Russia. It was the Democrats who colluded with Russia. And they're missing even the Uranium One scandal. And the Roger Stone, you know, somehow he's related to WikiLeaks. It's ridiculous. They keep on drumming this ridiculous things. And I'm kind of, you know, angered by some Republicans or right-minded people when they go to like shows like ABC's A View or other mainstream channels. I don't know why they don't even talk about that. How come they can't rebuke like, hey, do you know who Peter Strzok is? Do you know who Lisa Page is? Have you ever heard about Uranium One scandal? You know, that's why we call all of you channels fake news. ABC, NBC, CBS, and Washington Post, CNN, because you don't cover this heavily, and you're supposed to. Okay? Why not? How come you're not covering it? It's supposed to be splashing all the way around. This is more scandalous than the Watergate scandal, okay? Yet the mainstream media, they refuse to cover it. It should be on page 1 today. The Robert Mueller probe shouldn't have even happened in the first place, okay? So this whole thing, I think that, you know, the mainstream media, they believe this, I think. They believe that if you keep on lying about something, if you keep on lying something that's not true, but yet you believe that it's true and you brainwash people that it's true, somehow they believe that it's true too. You know, and they keep on pumping this up, a pipe dream. They are so delusional that they can't see the reality that it was the Hillary Clinton people and the DNC who fabricated this whole Russia probe. They can't see it, even though the evidence is still there. And the Hill, Fox News, they broke stories after stories. You know, they're the ones who's supposed to get Pulitzer Prizes. But obviously, they also lean left, so they don't want to do that. They hate Trump, you know, ridiculously. So this whole thing is corrupt. I really pity the people who just get their political information from mainstream media. They should watch Fox News, and they should try to get some information from the Hill. The Hill doesn't even lean right, okay? It's down the middle. And that's a fact. And go to Drudge Report and Breitbart. Try to find other news outlets, alternative outlets, not just the same old New York Times, Washington Post, and CNN. They are just fake news at this point, which is a shame, you know. They used to be great papers, but not anymore. And many of you might already know. You guys got to study about Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird. CIA, recruiting journalists and spreading fake news. It started all the way back in the days. I mean, it's been a while. They've been doing this manipulative games for a long time. Okay. So James Comey and Rod Rosenstein simply acted like crooks. I really wonder what kind of content would there be in the Mueller report. I really do, because there was no collusion. So I'm wondering, what kind of pipe dream or what kind of ridiculous nonsense content it's going to include in the Mueller report. So Whitaker, Matthew Whitaker's appointment as acting Attorney General was a very good thing, because Whitaker was critical of the special counsel probe, which he should be, if you have the right legal mind. The mainstream media might be critical about him saying that, but we shouldn't be, because this probe shouldn't have started in the first place. In a 2017 op-ed, Whitaker argued that if Mueller examined the Trump family finances without a broadened scope in his appointment, then this would raise serious concerns that the special counsel's investigation was a mere witch hunt. That's exactly true. It's 100% correct. Whitaker addressed his critics during the Monday news conference last week, saying he has now been fully briefed on the investigation and is looking forward to Mueller's report. So I wanted to give you some information of what Donald Trump tweeted today, President Trump. So today there was a big report. He said, we added 304,000 jobs, which was a shocker to a lot of people. It wasn't a shocker to me, because the mainstream media wanted Trump to have some bad numbers, because they thought the shutdown, with 800,000 federal employees furloughed, they wanted the unemployment rate report to be bad, and they wanted the job report to be bad. It's like they're rooting for America to fail. The unemployment rate did go up a little bit, slightly, to 4% because of the because of the shutdown, but they added 304,000 jobs, which is good news. But if you look at the mainstream media, it seems like that was sad news to them, because they wanted something bad, something negative to happen to Trump. So here, Trump says this: Nellie Orr, the wife of DOJ official Bruce Orr, was long ago investigating for pay members of my family, feeding it to her husband, who was then giving it to the FBI, even though it was created by ousted and discredited Christopher Steele. Illegal witch hunt. What does it say? So Bruce Orr, the Korean American, who was a number 4 guy in the Justice Department, his wife, Nellie Orr, she worked for the opposition research firm Fusion GPS. So Bruce Orr's wife, was spying on Trump's family. Can you believe this? Look how heinous this is. This is supposed to be page 1 for the New York Times, okay, or Washington Post. I just don't understand why they would want to play dumb or play blind when it comes to these kind of important issues, okay? And just out, the big deal. Very mysterious Don Jr. telephone calls after the innocent Trump Tower meeting that the media and Dems said were made to his father were just conclusively found out not to be made to me. They were made to friends and business associates of Don. Really sad. I guess it was CNN who reported that Don Jr. might have called his dad regarding the Trump Tower meeting. But you guys got to know this. This Trump Tower meeting was a setup by the Russian lawyer who she happened to meet before and after the Trump Tower meeting with Don Jr. She met with Fusion GPS people, okay? And I bet the mainstream media didn't even tell you that, right? So but they found out, even CNN reported that, were conclusively found not to be made to me. It wasn't made to Donald Trump. So they were rooting for it. Oh, Don Jr., please, in that date, I really wish that you called your dad. It didn't happen, okay? It did not happen. So New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, USA Today, all those famous papers, Time Magazine, they are fake news to this day, okay? At this moment. Probably they might have been real news back in the day. Not anymore. Not anymore. Okay? This is how crazy they have become. And it's a pity that there are so many foreign media outlets that just translates these articles blindly. They don't even decipher it. They don't even try to analyze what kind of content it is. They don't study it. They don't read books. You have to hit the books if you want to know the inside and out of politics. How can you even cover it? I don't understand. There are so many people who just translates it and and pretend that they're like specialists in American politics. If you don't see the other side of the token, you are not covering American politics properly. Okay. So even these things people don't want to talk about. So Donald Trump tweeted, very sadly, murder cases in Mexico in 2018 rose 33% from 2017 to 33,341. Last year alone, 33,341 people got murdered. This is a big contributor to the humanitarian crisis taking place on our southern border and then spreading throughout our country. Worse even than Afghanistan, much caused by drugs. Wall is being built. Now do you understand why we need a wall? If you just read the Times or the Post, you would never know that. Okay? Schumer and the Democrats are big fans of being weak and passive with Iran. They have no clue as to the danger they would be inflicting on our country. Iran is in financial chaos now because of the sanction and Iran deal termination. Dems put us in a bad place, but now good. So Schumer and the Democrats, they wanted the Iran deal. That alone is super dangerous, right? This Iran deal was not beneficial to America at all. It was beneficial to Russia. Russia is close with Iran. And Iran got all the goodies from America. You know, they got $150 billion. They got $1.2 billion cash. And they got 26 terrorist/suspected terrorists. Okay? And America got 4 hostages back. So who won that deal? To me, it was Iran. Slam dunk. You know, if it was a basketball game, it was 99-10. Okay? But Trump killed the deal, nixed the deal, which was a good thing. But if you look at the mainstream media, you would never know that. You would never know what I just explained to you, you know. It is a pity. It is just a pity. And, you know, you have this Maggie Haberman from New York Times tweeting some ridiculous stuff, mentioning about like Q. I don't know. Some people have been asking me, is QAnon real or not? I'm not sure. I don't know. But probably more real than the mainstream media. That's just my guess, okay? So, best January for the Dow in over 30 years. We have by far the strongest economy in the world, okay? And the witch hunt must end. That's why you have to read Trump's Twitter feed. You have to do it, you know, because his Twitter feed is much more honest than the mainstream media. I can say that, okay? And that's a fact. So, I inherited a total mess in Syria and Afghanistan, the endless wars of unlimited spending and death. During my campaign, I said very strongly that these wars must finally end. We spend $50 billion a year in Afghanistan and have hit them so hard that we are now taking peace. And after 18 long years, Syria was loaded with ISIS until I came along, which is true. When Obama was in the Oval Office, ISIS was rampant all over Syria, okay? But Trump pretty much destroyed ISIS, you know. We will soon have destroyed 100%, okay? But we'll be watching them closely. That's what Trump tweeted. Okay, and yeah, so you really, I mean, it is vitally important to get proper news. You're not going to get those. You will not get those on CNN, MSNBC, or New York Times, or Washington Post. When they don't talk about the FISA issue, okay, or the Uranium One, or Fast and Furious and all these scandals under Obama administration, they are fake news, you know. How come they're not covering it? Why are they hell-bent on becoming the super PAC for the Democrats? Or is it the other way around? Is it the mainstream media who's controlling the Democratic Party? I know that back in the day it wasn't like that. You know, I used to support a lot of Democrats. But at this point it's very difficult. It is very difficult because they are so corrupt. They collude with the mainstream media. It's all in the WikiLeaks, okay? It's all in the WikiLeaks feed. So, I mean, they can't even deny it. But you know what? The mainstream media, they don't even want to talk about the content of WikiLeaks, which says something, okay? So WikiLeaks, they didn't have to retract the story ever since they were created. And even the Roger Stone The way FBI raided Roger Stone, it was insane. It was like he was a mob boss. The way they treated him was like a mob boss. It's just ridiculous. They had like 27 FBI agents. It's just ridiculous. It is just absolutely ridiculous. So I think Senator Graham, Lindsey Graham, he requested to Christopher Wray, the current FBI director, he wanted to know the in and out of it. Why? How come there were a dozen FBI agents raiding Roger Stone's home in South Florida? Huh? He could have called his lawyer, Roger Stone's lawyer. And his wife is practically deaf, according to Roger Stone, you know. And what if she couldn't listen to the FBI's, the feds, asking her to raise her hands? What if she couldn't hear? I mean, she couldn't hear it, probably. And what if she didn't raise her hands? Then they shoot her? Would they justify that? It's just ridiculous what's going on in America right now. And I don't know. I mean, many people believe that Trump is cleaning up the house. I don't know whether it's really actually happening. I wish it is. I wish that he is draining the swamp. I know that it is better than before during the Obama administration, like 100 times better. I do know that, but probably not as good as we hope it to be. It's just ridiculous, you know. Heavily armed FBI agents, they say it's an abuse. Roger Stone said this is an abuse of power. Abuse of power. It's just shameful what's going on. What is going on here? It's just ridiculous, and it shouldn't happen like this. I just don't understand what's going on with America right now, and especially regarding this. You know, Lindsey Graham asked FBI director for briefing on Roger Stone raid. So yeah, I think they're going to have to find out. And Trump kind of mentioned it too. He wants to know. You know, he wants to get to the bottom of it. So Graham said in a letter to FBI Director Christopher Wray that he wants a briefing before February 5th. So that's next week. He said he is concerned about the manner in which the arrest was effectuated, especially the number of agents involved, the tactics employed, the timing of the arrest, and whether the FBI released details of the arrest and the indictment to the press prior to providing this information to Mr. Stone's attorneys. Trump himself said Wednesday that he would think about asking the FBI to review its tactics. He told the Daily Caller, there's a real news site there, he told the Daily Caller website that he was very disappointed to see that go down that way. Okay? And Trump also criticized the intelligence community. Why? Why did he bash them? Huh? He bashed passive and naive intel officials as he touts progress on North Korea and ISIS. That's what Washington Times said. Why is that? Because of course he can't believe them. What did FBI do? They spied on him. They spied on him. You know, there has been some report that they might have even spied on him when he was in Trump Tower. You know, Mike Rogers informed him, the former NSA director. Huh? Of course, even the NYT, the New York Times reported that Trump was spied on. They put spies on his campaign. What's that guy named Stephen Halford, the professor? He was acting as a spy. But of course, if you read the mainstream media every day, you can't follow it, because they would only report those kind of news one day. You know, to make noise, you have to continuously report it, like the fake Russia collusion. Even though it's fake, since NYT, WAPO, and CNN and USA Today, these media outlets, they report it every day, so people know it, you know. But how come they're not reporting the other side? Why are they reporting those fake things, but not the real things? The people who got indicted, the 13 Russians who got indicted, Paul Manafort got indicted, Roger Stone, it had nothing to do with Russia. It had nothing to do with Russia. Even Roger Stone, it had nothing to do with Russia. It was about perjury, right? It's just ridiculous. Okay, so Trump slammed his own intelligence officials Wednesday morning, a day after they countered some of his claims in front of Congress. The intelligence people seem to be extremely passive and naive when it comes to the dangers of Iran. They are wrong, he tweeted. Be careful of Iran. Perhaps intelligence should go back to school. This is why he's saying this, okay? They spied on him, okay? Now look at the behavior, the ridiculous nonsense, insane behavior that John Brennan has been shown, the former CIA director, or James Clapper, the former DNI director. These are some corrupt individuals who used to be up there. Of course, you can't believe what they're reporting. Of course. You know, the president got elected. They didn't get elected. The president has his own mind. And look at what the intelligence community created back in early 2000s. They attacked Iraq, right? George W. Bush, a Republican, he said, former President George W. Bush said that Iraq, Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. Did they have it? No, they didn't. So you remember, even the Democrats were screaming, Bush lied, people died. Do you remember that? It's ridiculous. You know, the Democrats were all on his side. I mean, I give you that. Obama didn't. You know, Obama was opposed to that war. But what happened in Iraq? You know, so many of Americans died. More Americans died in Iraq than 9/11. Okay? Just remind yourself that. Was it worth it? If we stayed there, probably it could have been worth it. But Obama, what did he do? He stupidly pulled them out, right? He pulled the troops out. It created a vacuum, and ISIS took over. Okay? That's why many people say Obama was the MVP of ISIS, creating ISIS, okay? Not creating, but he definitely was instrumental of making them big. And even the war, when in Syria, Obama was not on Assad's side. He was in ISIS side, right? I think many people don't know that either, which is a shame because the mainstream media do not cover it. And I mean, let's not get started with the mainstream media. I am just so sick of them. I don't even read them anymore. I just read the titles to see what kind of lies they're putting it out there. Okay? And Mr. Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, they will meet for the second time in February. Okay, that's a good thing. Isn't it a good thing? But the mainstream media, they're trying to criticize him. They're saying that he's losing everything. What did Trump lose so far? I don't think he lost anything. Just by meeting him was a loss? Really? You're not even supposed to try to strike a conversation. Barack Obama definitely didn't do that. Bush didn't do that. Bill Clinton didn't do that. Huh? He met, and ever since, they didn't shoot the missile, you know. Even before they met, you know, he met him. Kim Jong-un didn't shoot missiles, ICBMs. He didn't test nuclear bombs, right? And it doesn't feel like they're going to do it anytime soon, right? Because the talks are going pretty good. And you know, Kim Jong-un was happy to get Trump's letter. We don't know what the content of the letter was, but it seems like he was okay. I mean, he said he believes Trump, right? Essentially, that was what Kim Jong-un was saying through the North Korean propaganda paper, right? So we got to know what's important and what's not, and what is real and what's not. Okay? If you just read the papers, it seems like Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing. I would say this: Donald Trump is much smarter than the previous politicians. I would say Trump is smarter than Obama. Trump is smarter than Bush. Trump is smarter than Clinton. Isn't that good enough? Huh? I can guarantee you that, yeah. So, like, on Tuesday, CIA Director Gina Haspel, Director of National Intelligence Dan Coats, and FBI Director Christopher A. Wray told the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence that Iran appears to be in line with the 2015 Iran nuclear deal made during the Obama administration. So these individuals, Gina Haspel, Dan Coats, Christopher Wray, they were all appointed by Trump. But they all said that the 2015 Iran nuclear deal has been working fine. Really? Really? I don't understand that. Yet they warned that Tehran has threatened to restart its nuclear program if the U.S. keeps up its economic pressure. So they're kind of saying that Trump is doing the wrong thing. Really? Giving them 150 bill and 1.2 bill in cash, that was a good thing to do, and giving out 26 suspected terrorists? Really? So Trump has been saying this. This is Trump's rebuke to these three individuals: Gina Haspel, CIA Director; Christopher Wray, FBI Director; and Dan Coats, the Director of National Intelligence. This is how he rebuked. He said, North Korea relationship is best it has ever been with the United States. No testing, getting remains. Right. Trump got the remains, right? That was there for decades. That was in North Korea for decades. Hostages returned. Decent chance of denuclearization. The intelligence community's worldwide threat assessment determined that it was unlikely that North Korea would dismantle all of its nuclear weapons program. Yeah, probably it is unlikely, but at least they're not shooting anything right now, right? Isn't that a good positive thing? This is what Trump said. I look forward to seeing Kim Jong-un shortly. Progress being made. Big difference. Mr. Trump also boasted about Islamic, this is from the Times, okay? The Washington Times, not the New York Times. By the way, the Washington Times founder is a Korean, but anyway. Mr. Trump also boasted about Islamic State being nearly wiped out, unlike during President Obama's administration. Since then, tremendous progress made. This is what Trump wrote, especially over the last 5 weeks. So you can see the difference, okay? And Trump also wrote, fighting continues, but the people of Afghanistan want peace in this never-ending war. We will soon see if talks will be successful. So these directors, these CIA director or DNI director, they want Trump to stay. They want American troops to stay at Syria. But at what cause? At what cause? You know, you have to me, it seems like one American soldier dead, that's one too many. If you have that mentality, we have to stay there forever. And it seems like the deep state want us to stay there forever. But that was wrong, and I believe that Trump did the right thing. I mean, we have to pull out. I mean, we can't just be, America just can't be the world police all the time. American soldiers' lives, they are too precious to sacrifice like that. Well, that's our show for today. Our show is not about left or right. It's about right or wrong. To stay up to date with our latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel by clicking subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.